Okay, I wanted to make another video about the Taoist Yoga, Alchemy, and Immortality book. And I've been corresponding with people who've had questions about it. And so I've been quoting excerpts from it and doing word searches of the books, which is a great way to sort of like cross-correlate the complicated analysis for the alchemy Neidong training. And essentially a key point of the book is that you have an inner fire from your consciousness, which is the Yin Qi. So the fire starts out as Yin Qi. So when you have your eyes open and you're talking, then the inner fire is a Yin Shen, or they would call it a negative spirit, but just means yin going out of the eyes, and it's powered by the Yin Qi. And so this is actually a type of delusion because it indicates that you're not seeing the light externally from the center of the brain. They call it, I think they say it's like a size of a grain of rice in the center of the brain, which is the pineal gland. But it's a cavity, the original cavity that does not exist until the mysterious gate is activated or opened, which is the Yuan Shen, which they also call the yellow court. So it's like a white yellow light that's seen externally with the eyes open. But also, if you see it just with your eyes closed, then that's called the relative void, because again, that's the inner fire or inner light, and it's from the Yin Qi. So normally the heart, they call that the red dragon, because it's from the Yin Qi is in the blood. So in terms of science, again, it would be like negative ions. And it's also connected to the earth's energy. So what you want to do is when you close your eyes, that the heart's fire then turns into spiritual fire as heaven. And so when you visualize light into the earth, then what you're doing is you're putting the heart that normally would be Yin Qi as consciousness and thinking and planning and passions, like feeling romantic love or whatever, and you're reverting that back into the earth. And so then you're turning the heart's fire as inner fire into spiritual fire. And so if the younger you are, then the more you return the Yin Qi or fire back into the earth, then that will then crystallize the immortal seed, or the positive principle, which is like the alchemical pill. It's also called the positive generative force. So when you crystallize the immortal seed, that's when the third eye opens up and you see the gate of immortality, or it's the first half of the alchemy training. So that means that the Yuan Shen, or your original spirit, is seen from before you were born and after you leave your body. So you see the light outside of your body, but it manifests through the two eyes from the center of the brain. And so when you're younger, then that's easier for it to manifest, because you have more of what happens is once you start breathing after you're born, the Yuan Qi and the Yuan Shen separate. So the Yuan Qi is the vitality, so that goes down to the lower body. And then it splits into the Yang Qi and Yin Qi. So then the Yin Qi goes to the heart for the thinking and desire and the emotions of the organs, so like anger and so then the Yang Qi, then what happens is it goes down to the reproductive organs, and when it gets activated by the Yin Qi through that inner fire signal, then it gets turned for the males. It gets lost as reproductive fluid. So that's why the dreams have to be controlled. Because what happens is if essentially they call it the gate of mortality, which is the base of the reproductive organ for the male, but that gets triggered by the sympathetic nervous system. And so the key is to focus on building up the Yang Qi, so it becomes positive generative force by having the Yin Qi join back with the Yang Qi, and then through the small universe meditation, you are purifying the Yin Qi, because those are your thoughts. And when you rotate your eyes around, that's the eyes control the spirit, and then the breathing controls the qi. And so when you rotate your eyes from left to right, that causes the light to start from the lower dantian and the base of the trunk, the perineum, then up to the small universe, and it goes up the spine and then to the top of the skull, the byway point, which they call the source of all the nerves in the body, and then it goes down to the heart where it gets purified, the Yin Qi. So when you turn your eyes, you're actually, the left eye is the Yang Shen, which again is the positive spirit when your eyes are closed and the light is going down. And then the Yin Shen is from the Yang Qi of the right eye. And so what happens is, through meditation, the Yin Qi in the blood, when it goes up to the third eye, it increases the production of the cerebral spinal fluid, which is the Yang Qi. But that has to get ionized by the light, the spirit light, when you're rotating the eyes. So in terms of science, eventually you would see golden light, and Qigong Master Chen Yulin, he talks about this, where he sees golden light. He also mentions seeing the flowers falling in the sky, and that means that the immortal fetus has been created from the golden light. And so that only happens when you restore the Yang Qi back to when you were like a baby. And as you do that, the top of the skull opens up again, and at first it pulsates with the Qi. So, at that point in the meditation, you're supposed to do fasting. Well, you're still supposed to do fasting before that, and you don't sleep anymore. So that's why he went 28 days with no sleep and next to no food. And then when he got out, he levitated up 9 feet. And the reason that happens is because in terms of science, the golden light then is absorbing this Yuan Qi. So they call the golden light the spiritual fire that has the ability to sublimate the spirit, the Yuan Shen, into the Yuan Qi, the emptiness. And so the final stage of the practice is actually, you start creating transformation bodies, which are the Yang Shen, or the golden light body that then can create new matter. And so this is called the golden key of the superluminal yin matter in the Zonggong. That's what they called it. My Qigong master Zhang Hongbao. And that's what Chen Yulin trained in that school at Mount Qingcheng. So by superluminal yin matter, what you're referring to is actually what Qigong master Yang Shen calls the virtual information. So this is like the golden light. If you just study quantum chemistry, it's explained that the color gold actually relies on virtual photons being absorbed as a relativistic quantum phenomenon in chemistry. So that's essentially what you're doing with your body. And then, so eventually, even after you create all these transformation bodies at the very end of the training, and this is also called bilocation. So if you read like Punjaji in India and his teacher Ramana Maharshi, they were known to have had bilocation happen, but they weren't aware that it happened. And I even asked Qigong Master Chen Yulin if he had created the Yang Shen, and he said that somebody had seen him walking outside of his house in China when he was meditating. So, and he talks about seeing the golden light, but the other thing in the book explains is that there's 3 stages of the golden light. So once the immortal fetus has been created, when you see the falling flowers, that's just the first stage. And then when you see the like falling or snow in the sky in the summertime or whatever, I can't remember how they describe it, but that means that the immortal fetus is mature. And at that stage, that's when your own physical body actually would vaporize into pure Yuan Qi. And that happens because you keep the golden spiritual body inside your own physical body. And so it feeds off the physical body. And so eventually all the Yin Qi blockages, which are manifest as red light in the golden light, they get converted into the purified Yang Qi, which then becomes the Yuan Qi, which is formless. And you could think of it as like this ether that is a anti-gravity, like non-local information, active information from the future that's then guiding the creation of new matter. So what happens is that normally the question is it required to create the immortal golden body in order to maintain the Yuan Qi, at physical death by vaporizing your physical body back into pure Yuan Qi? Because like the school of Mahayana Buddhism, they argue that it is required. And so that's why Chan Buddhism is very much integrated with Taoism, or the two are kind of the same, in this Taoist alchemy book. So that's why they also call the golden light, when you turn the heart back into earth, there's an integration of the earth and heaven into the Yuan Shen and Yuan Qi and Yuan Jing. So beyond the earth and heaven is the immortal fetus. And so what's happening is that even the golden light of the Yang Shen, that's the union of heaven and earth. So the heart's fire, when your eyes are closed and you're meditating, it gets turned into spiritual fire that eventually is golden light. So that's why they say the Yin Qi is golden light, but the only way it's golden light is because the Yin Qi gets purified and into the Yang Qi, so the Yang Qi then, when that gets crystallized and into the immortal seed, then you have the formation of the immortal seed, and that's what creates the white light of the Yuan Shen, the yellow quartz, like a white yellow light, as the moonlight. That's considered the moonlight. So that's from heaven as the Yang Shen, but it's Yang Qi. But it's the Yin. It's still a Yin Shen, because it's not the immortal golden light. So it's still a negative spirit, Yin Shen, as moonlight, not the sunlight. But the fact is that eventually, because you're relying on this merger of heaven and earth alchemically, and the Yuan Qi itself is neither inside nor outside the body. So therefore, the Yin Qi and Yang Qi get integrated together, and so does the Yang Shen and Yin Shen. And it's only when you finally get rid of the impurities of the Yin Qi as the red light in the golden light, that then the physical body gets vaporized completely and then turns back into the complete Yuan Qi. So normally what happens when a person leaves their body at death, if you read the Tibetan Book of the Dead, they explain how that at the very moment of death, you experience the Yuan Qi with the Yuan Shen as this really bright light. But then most people, their spirit can't handle it. So the ghost is what they call the Hun Shen in Taoism, which is also called the incorporeal soul. It's of the heart. And then the body has the Po soul, which is the corporal soul of the body from the Yang Qi with substance. And so the reason it's the Hun Soul as a ghost is because it still has the Yin Qi blockages in it as red light. But those red light blockages are themselves a manifestation of this deeper dynamic of the Yang Shen, originating from the heart being reversed in direction, the light being reversed in direction during meditation, so that the Yin Qi gets turned back into the Yang Shen by redirecting it back into earth in the body. So when you pass on and you have Yin Qi blockages in the body from thinking, from consciousness, then that's actually a frequency of light as the red light, what they call the red dragon. And so when you turn the light around, it then gets turned into blue light, because that's the water. What is it? The earth it's tied with the spleen and the pancreas, and you turn the black tiger into the white tiger, as it's called in alchemy, and And even in science, they talk about the blue light then gets absorbed to create the color gold, and but it gets absorbed through the virtual photons, the Yuan Shen. So that's why you have this meditation purification process. And it all comes down to the heart going into the earth. So you're turning consciousness into what would be called logical inference as emptiness or listening, based on a pure listening process. And that's what would get you into what in science they would call super radiant acoustic phonons as listening. In the Taoist Yoga book, they just call it vibrations. I think that's the word they use. That would be the closest to that. But Ramana Maharshi calls it Muna Samadhi, which would be silence Samadhi. And so again, the question is it required to create the immortal golden body that's purified to finally achieve immortality? Well, the irony is that the immortality is completely impersonal, because it's the Yuan Qi. The Yuan Qi is the ether force of reality itself. Like, it's what they call in Vedic philosophy, they call it Atman equals Brahman. Your soul equals God, essentially. It's another way to define that is I am that I am, as been found in the Bible. So it's basically the source of your I thought. So you're constantly emptying out the source of your I thought. So it's a completely impersonal merger of who you are, because your consciousness no longer exists as a what you believe to be a personal awareness. That's just the Yin Qi, a Yin Qi blockage. And so everything I just said to you is all based on that Yin Qi blockage. What Qigong Master Jim Nance called my brain blockage. He's like, yeah, you fell out of enlightenment, you know that? I'm like, uh-huh. Anyway, he also said I had a lot of really rare experiences. So, and he said I had the best mental concentration of any student he had met. That was before he got married, so I don't know. But anyway, so it's just a matter of where you focus the mental concentration. That's the key point. So we'll leave it at that.